Okay. Let's play here. It's
So what is YEP?
Hari Om everyone, welcome to the YEP Youth Empowerment Program 2016 webinar. My name is Ramesh Cheravu. I am a Yuvavir from graduate of the YEP America Batch 1, and I'm also a Bal Vihar coordinator in Chinmaya Mission Dallas Fort Worth.
Hari Om, my name is Ambika Cheravu, and I'm also a graduate of the first batch of YEP here in the West. And I'm a Bal Vihar teacher for high school students here in Dallas.
Let's start with the opening prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So to start off, I would like to start with a quote that Swami Sarveshananji posted on his Facebook, and it said, "The purpose of education is to learn, grow, and unleash true potential. Making a living is a different plane altogether. Unless they are distinctly separate from each other, we'll be making a great mistake we've been making for a few generations. Educate only to make a living." Gurudev's motto for CHIC has been to harness youth potential through dynamic spirituality. Making a living will become a byproduct. Making a life meaningful, mindful, satisfying, and a peaceful one is the true purpose of education. Don't just survive, but thrive.
So what is YEP? YEP is an initiative by Chinmaya Yuva Kendra, CHIC, the global youth wing of Chinmaya Mission. YEP was designed initially in 2003 for young adults to learn the principles of Vedanta, serve the community, and grow as dynamic, positive contributors to society. Graduates of YEP are known as Yuvavirs. Since 2003, more than 350 Yuvavirs have graduated this program, which is conducted each year at Chinmaya Mission Vibhuti in Pune, India. Here in the West, YEP first began in 2013, and we have graduated 2 batches so far. These courses were conducted in the Krishnalaya Ashram in California, and this summer will be the 3rd batch, and this will be conducted at Chinmaya Mission Mangalam in Berry, Texas, which is close to Dallas. So YEP is consisting of 2 parts. The first part is a 51-day residential program, which we'll go into more details later on that. And this will be conducted, of course, in person in Berry, Texas at Chinmaya Mangalam from June 6th to July 27th of this summer. The requirements are that the students must be between the ages of 18 and 28. The second part is that there is a 10-month service period, full-time or part-time, and we'll go into details on what that means later.
So the tagline of YEP is learn, serve, and grow. And the objective is to empower, and the vision is listed here as well. So what do we mean by learn, serve, and grow? Students of the YEP program will learn and be trained in Hindu philosophy, Indian culture, and principles of management, ethics, and organizational skills. The goal is to empower youth to become pillars of positive influence amongst their friends and community. Equipped with this training, confident young adults will be able to effectively reach out and inspire their peers with their dynamic vision. They would bloom into caring, responsible individuals with a sense of pride and duty to the society and to nation. After the period of learning, each Yuvavir will serve. So following the residential training program, each Yuvavir will serve in an assigned Chinmaya Mission Center for a period of 10 months. During this period of voluntary service, the Yuvavir will organize and lead youth-related activities for the center, including classes for children and youth, budget groups, personal development seminars, and retreats. UVaviers can choose to serve on a full-time basis as well, or volunteer at mission on a part-time basis while pursuing their careers or studies. The whole idea of after learning and serving is so the individual can grow. The program gives youth a clear focus for the future and a motivating life goal. UVaviers are enriched with life skills and a positive experience of internal transformation. Their clarity and dynamism enable them to be global citizens with a universal outlook. Through experiential learning and service, YEP aims to create insightful leaders of the future. We want to empower youth to operate at their optimum potential according to Sanatana Dharma, with a vision of one must empower oneself before empowering others.
So here we have a typical schedule of YEP and what it entails. Like we said, this is an all-summer program. There's no weekends, no holidays, so this is the regular schedule. It starts at 5:30 and ends at 10:30 p.m. So just some highlights from this schedule. There are 3 discourses a day, as well as one informal satsang where one can ask Q&A from any topic. There's also a session for sports every day, so we have a time to be active. There's 3 full meals, of course, and a snack. And the schedule is quite packed. By lunch, we will have performed yoga or meditation, had 2 discourses, a Sanskrit class, Vedic chanting. So it's very busy. And what's really interesting to note is how much we accomplish versus how much we may accomplish in the real world with such a schedule. One of the jokes that Ramesh was sharing with me earlier is that when he would talk about some lectures, he'd say, "Oh, remember that joke that Swamiji told us a couple days ago?" And we'd always be like, "No, it's actually today." And he wouldn't remember because it was such a busy day that you don't even realize it's yet to be a day, because your 24 hours are much more full and much more busy, and in turn you really do complete a lot of coursework.
One of the funny things that would commonly happen to me was by 9:30 was the last scheduled event that we had in the day. By 9:35, I was so wiped out because every day was so complete. I would hit the pillow and fall asleep by 9:35. And someone would come around at 10:30 in the evening and ring the evening bell. And commonly I would be woken up by this evening bell thinking that it was the morning bell. So I would start getting ready for the next day. I'd slept so completely and so deeply in that 1 hour that I thought I had slept through the entire night. A day in the ashram is so productive and so compact that it offers such a dense learning environment, which is unique to the ashram living. So here we see the diverse array of what you can expect to learn from a spiritual standpoint with the YEP program. As you can see, the texts that are covered here just really touch upon every corner of Hindu spirituality. One of the skills that each YEP student is equipped with is how to perform puja. And we're given a daily practice and daily disciplines that we can implement on a daily basis after finishing the residential program. I found out recently that this program was actually curated, and these scripts were curated by Gurudev himself, and they're prescribed as the most appropriate text for youth of our age. Personally, my favorite text was Sadhana Panchakam. So Sadhana Panchakam is broken up into 5 verses. Each gives about 8 pointers, and each pointer is so concise, and they're actionable items that can be applied to your life today. So I really like that we studied it in class and we were able to apply it immediately to our day-to-day lives. The other aspect I really enjoyed was the Chinmaya Mission Pledge. This is something that most Chinmaya Mission members have probably chanted hundreds, if not thousands of times throughout your life. In the YEP program, we had the opportunity of studying the Chinmaya Mission Pledge for an entire week, breaking apart every word, every syllable, every phrase throughout the entire pledge. So we really got to analyze it for its Vedantic significance, which is something I never had the opportunity to do. And it really shed new light on the Chinmaya Mission Pledge and everything it signifies.
So, life lessons at YEP. Not only, of course, do we cover a lot of text, as Ramesh just shared, but there are Vedantic life lessons taught throughout this course. And that's really what serves as the grow part of our mission. We want to equip YEP students with the appropriate soft skills that can be applied to education and their professional lives. And really, this helps to draw from, we have some industry leaders that had even helped teach some of these workshops. That's a part of our everyday schedule that help explain this as well. An example of using these skills is planning a camp. So during the summer, there is an NGCC camp, which basically is a camp for JCHICs or high school students. So the batch that is there that summer is in charge of conducting this whole camp. And I can just say from experience and being a part of it, it really gives you a really commanding role as if you're managing a project and you have to do everything A to Z. So these are some of the soft skills that one would hope to develop during this program. U of A's have also been so successful in applying these skills that we've had HAF, which is the Hindu American Foundation, and various heads of international Chinmaya mission projects that have approached Swamiji to actually conduct further development workshops, because this is such an important part, especially for the students that come to YEP, because we're really getting ready to enter the real world and enter school and the work life part of things as well.
So as mentioned earlier, there's two different ways of serving the mission after the 51-day residential program. So after completing the residential program, each U of A is required to serve for a period of 10 months. This can be completed on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. If you choose to serve a full-time basis, you'll be designated a Chinmaya Mission Center, either domestically or abroad. And you basically serve as a full-time employee of that mission center to help support their local projects and to carry out any administrative tasks that are necessary. If one chooses to serve on a full-time basis, the fee for the residential part is free. The course itself is free. And during the 10 months of full-time service, living and housing expenses are covered during that period. Alternatively, if one isn't able to extricate themselves from their educational or professional responsibilities for an entire 10-month period, one can choose to serve on a part-time basis as well. Similar to the full-time, this would be completed on 10-month basis after the residential course. In this case, you would return back to your college or your place of work and continue working full-time or being a student. But as a part-time basis, you would also continue to serve Chinmaya Mission. If one chooses to serve on a part-time basis, then the course fee would actually be $2,000. And I want to point out that the $2,000 is really a subsidized course fee. We've run the batches for a couple times now, and we've run the numbers, and $2,000 really covers about less than half of what it requires to host a student for 2 months. And common question I get is, what does the $2,000 cover? Well, it covers the food, the housing expenses, the operating expenses of the ashram, the books, and the volunteers that are required, and it covers all of that during the residential course. And to kind of put that in perspective, that fee in perspective a little bit, the typical chick camp that usually lasts about a weekend, usually a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday, typically costs about $200 to $250, and that's just for a weekend camp, right? And this program is almost a full 2 months, and it's $2,000. Moreover, to put it more in perspective a little bit, is the Mahasamadhi camp. The typical expense for a family of 4 is about $2,000. And that camp usually goes on for about 3 or 4 days. And again, this course is 51 days and the cost is $2,000. But really, in my opinion, the value that you get out of it is much greater than the fee that you pay. In my personal case, I wasn't able to take off a full year from work. So after attending the 2-month course, I returned back to work and worked full time after returning from the course, and I continue to serve part time even 3 years after the course.
So life after the ashram, as Ramesh just talked about, depending on the period of service, which is 10 months, you can be full-time or part-time. But this really outlines what that seva would entail. First and foremost, the Yuvavir would be helping develop CHIC and CHIC programs at a local center. In a typical CHIC chapter, and each city will have their individual group, there are 3 different activities that are performed, and one is seva, social, and special satsangs per quarter. So a Yuvavir would help either conduct, facilitate, or even create a CHIC group if it's a new university that has yet to have one. Another aspect of the seva is developing lesson plans on the CHIC syllabus. So of course there could be CHIC camps, there could be CHIC workshops, and a lot of the training that a Yuvavir has during the course, you learn how to conduct a leadership seminar, or you learn how to conduct a self-development program and workshop. So that's what that would entail. Another very big part of the seva that one would do is being part of different CHIC West initiatives and projects. So we have a number of different projects, and what is done is during the batch time when the students are studying during the summer, they allocate based on their interests what project they would like to be a part of. For example, some of the programs and projects that we're working on nationally is National Seva Project. In this, there are different book sales and book readings that are conducted throughout the year. Another project is the Bhutanese Outreach Program. So in this, there's seva for the refugee community that has immigrated over here to the United States. So a lot of different work on fundraising as well as in-person help and workshops. Another aspect is helping conduct national camps such as CTC, which is Camp Training Conference, or even helping plan the next YEP batch, which is of course the seva that Ramesh and I are in, for example. So that's a continuous project throughout the year. Another project is Yuva Govindam, which is creating a text, which is a compilation of excerpts written by all of our batchmates. So this of course would be somebody that's more interested in writing or being an artist and drawing. Another project is Jyoti Yatra, which is really a big project this year, being the centennial year of Gurudev. So there are there's a lot of logistics that go into it. This basically entails coordinating with different centers to have a Jyoti go to a center and ensuring that there are celebrations done at that center as well. There's another project which is university tours. So in this, we have, of course, our acharyas, Swami Sarveshananji, as well as Acharya Vivekji and others, visit universities and conduct yajnas, which really helps create CHIC chapters at those locations. And it really helps spread the word of Vedanta as well. So we have some Yuvavirs that help with that. Currently, there are 10 projects that Yuvavirs are working on, and of course, this grows throughout the year. But this is really the main part of what each Yuvavir will continue to grow with, regardless of if they're part-time or full-time. Everyone is assigned one of the projects.
So we want to touch briefly upon the faculty that we have the pleasure of learning from in the Youth Empowerment Program. So first of all, we have Swami Sarveshananji, who is the resident Acharya at Chinmaya Mission, Dallas, Fort Worth. He is also the National Director of CHIC West. And anyone who's had the opportunity to learn underneath Swami Sarveshananji knows how dynamic of a personality he is. He was a CHIC that learned under Gurudev himself, and everything that he learned, he knows how to portray really well to a CHIC age person. And it's because of Swamiji's guidance that we were able to hold the last 2 batches. And again, Swamiji has provided so much direction that has been able to us to plan even the 3rd batch of YEP. We also had the pleasure of learning under Swami Ramakrishnanji, who is a resident Acharya at Chinmaya International Foundation, which is in Kerala. And Swami Ramakrishnan-ji is perhaps one of the best teachers that any graduate in the YEP program can say has ever had. He's such a dynamic personality, and his grasp of Sanskrit is extremely deep. Learning a language in itself is an intimidating feat, and Sanskrit is probably one of the most vast languages to have ever existed. However, Swami Ramakrishnan-ji has the ability to break it apart in small pieces and teach those aspects in such a joyful, engaging, and really hilarious way. Swamiji is such a dynamic personality that has just made learning Sanskrit such a joyful experience. We also had Swami Paratmananji, who is the resident Acharya in Chinmaya Mission Beaumont in Beaumont, Texas. Swami Paratmananji is similar to Swami Ramakrishnan-ji in that he has the ability to foster a love of Vedic chanting amongst all the students of the YEP program. Vedic chanting is something that most Balavihar students have very little exposure to, but in the YEP program, every day we have at least 30 minutes of Vedic chanting, and it became such an integral part of the program, and we enjoyed it so much that anytime we get together for a Chik camp or a YEP reunion, we always take an opportunity to chant Vedic mantras together. In addition to these 3 full-time acharyas that will be there for the entire 2-month course, we also have visiting acharyas. In the past couple years, we've had the pleasure of having Swami Prakashananji from Trinidad, and Swami Bodhatmananji, and also Swamini Shivapriyanandama. And we've also had Swami Shantananji and Swami Shivatmananji, and also, of course, Acharya Vivekji from Niagara Falls.
So the application process for YEP is listed here. Of course, there's an application online, and over here we have even a little timeline of how long each step takes. And it consists of just a basic form that has your rudimentary information, as well as a part where you do have to write an essay on why you want to join. And those two together don't take too long, a little over an hour. And really the point of the essay is to know exactly why you'd want to study Vedanta and what your goals are. In addition, the application requires a reference. So this could be from an acharya, from your local center, or a board member, or a mission member. We have had some students that were not part of mission previously, which is okay. They had a recommendation from somebody else or a family friend that they needed as well, which is fine. In addition, there's a phone interview, and in this, it's a way for the admissions team to get to know you better and get to gauge your sincerity, especially if it's somebody that's new to mission, to really understand them and what they're wanting out of the program as well. Once the phone interview is conducted, there's usually a 2-week waiting period, and after that there is an email that will be sent with an acceptance letter on it as well, and directions.
Yeah, and the application can be found at chikwest.com/YEP, and additional details can be found at that website. So we have a few testimonials here from graduates of YEP America. The first picture we have here is Vivek Rambaran, who lives in Trinidad. And he says, YEP helped me to become more inspired and organized with everything I do. We also have Priya Wiersba, who is in batch 1, and she is from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And she says, I learned to leave behind the emotions and distractions from my interactions with the world. We're more than we think we are. We also have Shivam Khanna, who's a senior at Southern Methodist University here in Dallas. And he says, YEP was the medium with which to transform my life. I gained discipline and perspective. We also have Achint Murli. He's originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and he currently goes to college in New York University. YEP will YEP will give you the confidence, motivation, and courage needed to face life in a new way. We also have Sanjana, who was actually a graduate of YEP Batch 2. And Sanjana says, YEP has given me much more than what I can articulate in the limited time and space. But it has foremost taught me how to think and how to maintain an inner sanctuary of peace throughout the chaos of our daily lives.
So we have here listed frequently asked questions that we've received in the past from parents as well as applicants. And I'm going to go over a couple, but just so everybody knows, these are all available on the website as well as other questions should one want to see more. So one of the common questions we get is, I'm afraid that my child will decide to give up school and worldly pursuits to become a sannyasi. Should I be worried? So true sannyasa is the freedom of action and not the freedom from action. It's not giving up the world physically and escaping, but renouncing its lingering sway on the mind without affecting our duties. So this program is really not encouraging students to choose a path of sannyas. Instead, it's to show you that regardless of what you choose, you'll be able to reach a state of equipoise. And that state is needed whether you do take sannyas or whether you are out in the real world or in school as well. The course focuses on teaching the students that your happiness is in your own hands. Each individual can choose to respond to a situation rather than react irrationally. And that in every interaction, there's a lesson to be learned as to how one can improve oneself. All of these skills can be used to increase successful relationships between young students and married couples alike. The course helps strengthen a person in all stages of life, regardless of what path they choose to take. And it may inspire some to choose the path of sannyas at a later stage, but YEP does not offer this option, and it's really not the intended purpose of this course, kind of as we outlined as well. I have a quote here from one of our batchmates, Anuja, who is currently in a master's program in California, and she herself said that time management, social skills, and the ability to take on challenges and conquer them, as well as confidence and leadership, is what I gained from the YEP course. So just to really hone in on that, there's a lot of testimonials as well as what we had listed online that show what people really gain from the course itself. Let me touch on another frequently asked question as well. Let's see. Normally, parents only see their children during the summer. If the chicks are at YEP, when will the parents get to see their kids?
So this is a common question, and it's a legitimate concern. However, what we actually have said in the past is we invite the parents to come visit their children in the ashram and see their children really in their element. And if a parent chooses to visit their child in the ashram setting, we do ask that it be in a voluntary capacity. There's a lot of different responsibilities and tasks that we need help with to conduct the course successfully, and parents can really step in and help us out in this aspect. And so parents are definitely highly encouraged to visit the parents. Moreover, they will have, of course, telephone access and the ability to receive mail and whatnot. So close contact is very common in the YEP program.
And also, a lot of parents can come as sevaks. We've had some parents that have come because we do need help throughout the ashram as well. So if one is interested in doing that as well, there's always those opportunities available. Another question that I'll go over is, why spend 2 months at YEP when chicks can be doing other activities better geared towards their career or degree? And I think this is a very important question. It comes up very often. And what's really important to know is, I'll actually just list quotes from other batchmates as well of mine, is that YEP really is an internship that you'll provide your child and your child experience in a narrow field of study. The YEP program provides knowledge and a much broader scope of experience. Moreover, it provides tools to cultivate focus and discipline that can be easily applied to school, work, or an internship. And of course, there's a lot of different options during the summer, but one of the biggest things to notice about YEP is it's not just a classroom where you're learning rudimentary knowledge. You're learning about life and what life has to offer, and it will really enrich any experience one has afterwards, which is why it's really, I would say, incomparable to any other opportunities if one does have 2 months to devote to something like this. Another quote I'm going to read here is from Muriel, who is one of our batchmates. She's from London and is currently serving in Chinmaya Mission Vibhuti. She says, "YEP gives us the opportunity to develop skills that are values in today's world. For example, communication, organization, and other personal development skills, but with the added value of being grounded in time-tested methods of our scriptures. By giving us a better insight into ourselves, YEP gives us what we need to excel in whatever field our natural tendencies take us towards. Today, the education system is geared towards secular knowledge, skills to prepare us for the competition of the workplace. So emphasis is given on results rather than turning this information into wisdom, which will aid in all aspects of life."
One of the other pointers that I think really stuck with me was something Acharya Vivekji says, and I personally have spent a lot of years in my undergrad and also my graduate program and postgrad, and of that, all that schooling I've gone through, maybe 5%, maybe 10% of all the knowledge I learned, I use on a daily basis. However, this knowledge really allows you to build a foundation, 100% of which you can apply to your daily life 100% of the time. So it's really valuable information that can be applied to every aspect of your life. So we have a few pictures here that we'd like to share with you. A couple pictures here. Of course, the weather was really, really beautiful one day, so we took the satsang outside on the left-hand side picture. We also have Swami Brahmananji, who was conducting a discourse on the right-hand side. And this is just a few pictures of what a formal type satsang that we experience on a day-to-day basis.
Over here, we have some pictures of our informal satsang, and this may be in between some of our sessions or just in the evening. I remember the one on the right, actually. We were just sitting around talking about meditation and japa, and I had no idea that there was a specific way you had to position your fingers when you were touching japa beads. So just after session, it was really funny. Instead of running to lunch, we actually sat down, and Swamiji sitting here, of course, in the orange on the right, and is going through the process itself. So a lot of it will just be some kind of inspired questions that we may have. And what's beautiful is we really have our acharyas 24/7, so we can really be selfish and ask them whatever we want at whatever time, and they're very, very generous with their time and oblige us. Even on the left here, you can see it's in the library. So this was late at night, and we must have needed to go to sleep, but we had all these questions that we needed answered, so we sat down and stayed up a bit longer as well.
And this is one of the other beauties of living in the ashram environment, is that we have all these opportunities to have these organic, informal satsangs where one person will ask a question to one of our acharyas, and all of a sudden a crowd gathers and everyone has more questions. And this isn't something that we really have the opportunity to experience out in the world, when we might only go to Chinmaya Mission once a week. When you live in the ashram with the gurus, you see how they live and how they've applied the scriptures to their day-to-day lives, and it gives us the opportunity to ask questions throughout the entire day. So that's really a valuable experience that can only be enjoyed in the ashram type setting. This picture is of a class of Sanskrit, and again, to reiterate, Swami Ramakrishnanji was such a dynamic personality, and he always found ways to make Sanskrit such a joyful experience, and just through interactive exercises and such joyful exercises by the end of each lesson, my abs were hurting because I was in so much joy from laughing so much. And that's the way we had the opportunity to learn Sanskrit. Just a beautiful experience.
So Seva is also a part of our summer here, and one full day was spent actually helping establish the ashram in Krishnalaya. So here are just pictures of us. We repainted 2 of the buildings, and we had to scrape off the paint, and we painted all day. And we really were smiling the whole time. This isn't just this isn't just a photo shoot. We were really enjoying our time outside in the beautiful weather, and then being able to really add some more beauty to the ashram that was around us. And of course, this year it's not going to be in Krishnalaya; it'll be at Chinmaya Mission Mangalam. And as this is a new ashram, as you all know, it's brand new, and really this will be the first YEP program there. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to perform seva. So I'm sure we'll have a similar activity, a day of seva, where we'll be beautifying the ashram around us.
One of the activities we enjoyed on a day-to-day basis was an hour of sports. And so we played all different types of games, from soccer to football to ultimate frisbee to kabaddi to volleyball. And youth, as we know, have a lot of raw energy that needs to be expressed, and the sports field was the perfect venue in which we could do so. On the right, we have a picture of us playing volleyball. The typical format in which we would play volleyball was the students versus the acharyas. And I'm embarrassed to say that only one occasion throughout the entire 2 months did the students beat the acharyas. So they were an amazing team, not only just to learn from, but also to compete against on the volleyball court.
So of course we had a lot of workshops as well, which we had previously mentioned. On the left, it's actually a Yuvavir from India. Her name is Shabana. She is currently a student at the Vedanta course in Mumbai. And she would conduct various workshops, one of which was really to learn about the leadership qualities of famous CEOs or people that have created or innovated in some sorts. And we'd have a discussion as well as an activity that surrounds it. And we had a workshop once a day. On the right, it's another workshop we did. It's actually a really cool picture. We had trust falls. So that's one of our batchmates, Padma, and she's on a very old redwood tree, and she's about to fall back, and her batchmates, us included, were about to catch her. So it was just another workshop and another experience to learn how to trust and have some teamwork around you. And we were also able to visit the redwoods, which were surrounding us as well, which was beautiful.
Yeah, and actually, an example of a workshop that Batch 2 did is they learned about fear and how to control fear. And they actually went skydiving as well, which is a unique opportunity. So the whole goal is to create workshops to develop skills and in a dynamic learning environment. One of the aspects that we were taught in the YEP program was public speaking. On the left, we have Hemant, who's from Michigan, and he was given a prompt and was asked to speak on it in an impromptu fashion for a few minutes. On the right-hand side, we have Madhav, who is from Canada, and we're also prompted to speak on different verses on Bhajagovindam, and we were asked to speak and give a discourse for 5 minutes. And this was at random, that we were called at random and given a random verse to speak on, and we had to think of what to say for 5 minutes. So it was quite the experience.
Here we have some pictures from various programs we did. On the left, this is from our batch 1. So some of the students actually did they choreographed a dance in almost one day, and they did it to some Sanskrit sounds that Swami Ramakrishnan had given them. And so we gave them a project and told them to present in a day. So they had to use those skills that they had. On the right, we have Ajay Ravichandran from DC. He's playing the mridangam, as well as Devesh from California, and he's classically trained in singing. So we had a lot of special treats. There's so many different skills that all the students have. So we really enjoy music, dance, art in the evenings, and sometimes to celebrate festivals as well during the summer.
One of the most important aspects of the YEP program is reflection. Every day we have about 30 to 45 minutes in which every student is asked to find a corner and a nook in the ashram in which they can perform isolated mona and reflect. On the left, we have a picture of Achint Murali, who is a student at NYU. And this was a picture taken in the Redwood National Forest, and we took a field trip there, and we all had the opportunity to just meditate and reflect upon what has been taught over the past several weeks. On the right, we have a picture of Sanjana from New Jersey, and she's also taking advantage of the ashram environment to reflect upon everything that was being taught.
And over here we have a picture of both of the batches. So on the left is batch 1, and on the right is batch 2. And this is both, of course, at the Krishnalaya ashram. And as you can see, I mean, it's a very big group, a very close-knit group. Spending so much time during the summer, you really do create a lasting bond. And it's very important because as everyone goes back to school and goes back to work, you really want to keep the satsang alive. So even though we all live in different cities and in some cases different countries, we really keep the satsang alive through various discourses or just being in contact with one another to continue to grow while we're out of the ashram.
All right, before we open the seminar up for questions and answers, I would like to just highlight a few different points of contact in which you can get more information about the YEP program. You can find us at facebook.com/ChickWest. You can also call me on my cell phone, which is listed here on the slide. Of course, we're also available by email at yep@chickwest.com. And of course, all the information that we went over in this seminar can also be found at chickwest.com/yep. And additionally, that's where you can find the application process, any frequently asked questions, and further details to answer any questions that you might have about the YEP program. So thanks for taking the time to be with us for the seminar. At this time, we're going to open it up for questions that you may have.
Hariom, everybody. Thank you so much for being a part of the webinar. I really appreciate that everyone has taken some time. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Ambika, and I was a graduate of Batch 1.
Hariom, I'm also, my name is Shivam Khanna, and I was also a member of and graduate of Batch 1 as well. And we're here just to facilitate the Q&A.
So just a couple of things before we start. I know that you all saw the PowerPoint, and some people joined a bit late. So what's great about this venue or this medium that we're using is that it creates a YouTube link. So even if you came late, I will be sending the link out to everybody so you can go back and take a look at parts of it, or if there's a certain screen that you wanted to look at, you can go back and do that as well. In addition, all the information that we said, a lot of the FAQs are all on the ChickWest website. So it's chickwest.com/yep. So please do take a look. The application is there and anything else that you may need along with our contact information. So I had posted before, but we are looking at the screen live. So if anybody does have some questions, although we're not able to listen in and hear you, you can type it in onto the Google page. Along with Shivam and I, we have others as well online. We have some other UAVers. I know Pranav is online, as well as Archana and Hemant. And what's great is we're all either from different batches and from different walks of life. So if there's something that I can't answer, they can also answer online. Now, I did get a text earlier of a question that I wanted to share with everybody in case people had similar questions. I was asked, is there free time for other activities if one needs to study or complete applications or whatnot? We did have some students that were completing their graduate school applications. I run a full-time business and I did need to check email time to time. As I shared on the webinar, it's a very robust schedule, very busy. So we are definitely limited. But what I will say to those that have that question is when you do apply, this would be a specific question and permission to be sought from our Swamiji, Swami Sarveshananji, to make sure you're able to fit it, because you also want to have the best value out of the program and really devote as much time as you can. So there has to be a balance. So it's kind of a mixed answer, but after the application process, that's something that will have to be discussed in person. And then we had another question, and I wanted to pose it to Shivam because he's a college student. As a student, how has YEP changed your college experience?
So the question was, how has YEP changed my college experience? And as I think about it, there's three things that I would say really helped me in my college day-to-day process. And that would be 1, discipline, 2, time management, and the third thing I would really have to say is prioritization. So when it comes to discipline, going to YEP, you gain a lot of skills that allow you to channel your energy into that which is important to you. And that discipline is huge because there's so many times when we say, hey, if I didn't watch that show of Netflix and study for my test instead, I would have done much better. And when you have that type of thought process coming out of YEP, your discipline is just so much more increased that your life, your long-term plans are effectively run because of that discipline. The second thing is the time management, which stems from the discipline. And the time management helped the most because you saw how effective time management was at the course itself. With such a regimented schedule, which was keeping you busy, keeping you active, giving you that fulfillment on a day-to-day basis, you want to take that fulfillment and bring it to your day-to-day life with those time management skills. So you take those lessons from that schedule, and when you bring it to your day-to-day life, it makes everything so much smoother. Where you're juggling so many different things in college, trying to figure out who you are, being in this club, being in these classes, being in these organizations, you can juggle all of them by making that effective schedule and making those time management skills put to good use. And the last one was the prioritization. And the prioritization, I think, is one of the most important because you prioritize that which is important to you. You stop kind of bending towards what society may say you should do. You kind of just do what you really feel is the most important, where you know what is important and you do it because that's the thing that's going to give you the most fulfillment. And YEP gives you that type of backbone and those types of skills that allow you to get to that level the most. Because that prioritization, it comes from also that discipline and also that time management to allow you to live a completely fulfilled life. So that's how I would say it really changed my college experience.
Thanks, Shivam. And I have a Yuvavir here, Sanjana. She was part of the second batch, and she wanted me to mention something important that I actually don't think we mentioned during the webinar. After college, it does become very difficult to take 2 months off. So for those that are in school and considering when to go, I would highly recommend to do it sooner rather than later. As Shivam said, he's a college student. So of course he had summer breaks. We had a lot of students that went even the summer before college. Personally, for me, as well as my husband and others, we had to take 2 months off work. So although it can be done while you're working, it's extremely difficult because you have to ask for permission and it's unpaid leave, so it's a bit tougher. So if you are able to, please do do it now, do it immediately, because now is better than ever. And I think a lot of the other Yuvavirs and the graduates would share that sentiment as well.
And just another point to note when it comes to the summer as well, I know like college students, and I've talked to other individuals who are really interested in YEP, that internships are another thing that sometimes is a conflict. But I will tell you this, when people ask me what I did for my summer right after my freshman year, when I did go to YEP, those experiences, when I talked to them about my internships that I gained later, it was one of the huge selling points of myself and just those discipline and those skills that I inculcated there. And it is something that teaches you the most about life. So it's like an internship on life. I think we said that in the webinar as well.
And then I have one more question. It's who to contact about volunteering during the course. So if you're somebody that's very interested, but maybe can only take a week off work or want to help out, there are Seva opportunities. Or if you're a parent and your student, your child will be going to the YEP course and you'd like to come visit them and serve at the ashram for a while, that's definitely possible as well. If you are interested, please email us. The email link is on the website, chickwest.com/yep. There is a specific email just for YEP on there. It's the same email that you send the applications to, so that the organizers can create a list, because I believe we already have one running. So please do, if you're considering, or if, for example, you can't come this year and you want to come visit the ashram, it's a great time to do seva as well as visit and sit in on the classes as well. We did have a lot of students do that. And in fact, some students did that with our batch, and they ended up coming on the next batch when they had the opportunity to attend as well. Okay, I'm just trying to see if we have any other questions. Do you have any other questions that you've been given?
Just check my phone really quickly. No.
Okay. So I'm sure more questions will come up, and that's why we're all available here. I've posted my personal contact information, my email address, as well as my phone number. And we've also posted the website, which has questions for students, applicants, as well as for parents. Really the frequently asked questions from the past 2 to 3 years that we've really gotten. So I really hope that we were able to give you all a good overview of YEP, what it entails, and really share how passionate we are about the program and what it's done for us. So please reach out to us if you have any other questions. And thank you for joining us. We'll be ending with a closing prayer before we call it a night. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om, and good night, everybody.